Hello everyone, Demise here. Welcome to the first devlog of Shadow of Scintilla, a first-person action roguelike that focuses on melee combat. I'm planning to make this kind of update videos every month going forward, as a way to push myself, making steady progress. Before we start, I have already made the Steam page, because marketing is hard, and as an unknown developer, I'd better start early, so please consider adding my game to your wishlist if you are interested. Links in the description. With that out of the way, let's continue with the devlog. So, Shadow of Scintilla is a first-person action roguelike. Players fight enemies, battle bosses, and discover the secrets of the fantasy world. I'm currently developing it solo with Unreal Engine 5. The original idea for this game comes from a small game called Devil Daggers. It's a simple arena shooter with excellent execution. So the idea is simple. I wanted to make a small game, maybe just one level, but with very polished gameplay. The reason why I wanted to make a very small game is that the most challenging aspect of indie development, in my opinion, is actually finishing your game. But during the prototype development, with more and more ideas, the game is no longer what I first imagined. But with all those exciting game feature ideas, I'm still trying to keep the size of the game under control so that I can actually finish it. In fact, I made a design document listing all the important game features. Although the document is just for myself and so not very detailed. Why do I choose to make a first-person action roguelike as my first game? Well, my long-term goal is to make story-rich 3D RPG game, so I figured I might as well start with 3D games. As for the first-person aspect, I do play a lot of first-person games. Comparing to first-person shooters, there are a lot of first-person games that focus on melee combat. Games like Murder, Chivalry 2, Kingdom Come Deliverance, and Vermintide 2 are some of my favorites, so I decided to make my game melee combat focused. Then, there is the roguelike aspect. Simply put, roguelike makes it very easy to try out different gameplay ideas. At the start of the development, my first goal is to make a fluent player movement system, so I implemented a wall run system and player mental system. Then I made a test level to make sure it actually plays well.
This is Sparta!
After player movement system, the next big task is to implement combat. In current combat system, every melee weapon has light attack combos and heavy attack combos. Player can also block and parry, pretty standard stuff. For now, I have added 4 weapon types: two-handed sword, spear, halberd, and sword and shield. One special thing I'm still working on is a custom combo system. I want the player to have the ability to customize light attack combos and heavy attack combos. The system is already working, but the design is not finished, because since attack combos can be customized, every attack should have its pros and cons. Different attack type can even affect enemy design. For example, some attack may be more effective against armored enemies. We will revisit this part in future devlog. As I was developing melee combat system, I realized that it's more fun to also add ranged weapon. With ranged weapons, I can even design more enemy types. So player now can choose one melee weapon and one ranged weapon. Currently there are 3 ranged weapon types: bow and arrow, throwing axe, and throwing javelin. As I was making the animation for bow and arrow in Blender, it doesn't feel right at first. Then I added an aim point, and by keeping the aim point at the center during animation, the result feels much better. Just a tip if you are making bow and arrow animations. Before continue developing combat-related system, I added dodge ability for the player. Combat is not only about actions, it's also about reactions. As a reminder, all art showing in devlog videos are not final. Some of the enemies may not be included in the final game. I'm currently focusing on making all the major systems working. When the systems are ready, replacing art assets is easy. So currently the reaction system for enemies works like this. There are 3 levels of reaction. First is simple in-place reaction. Second is reaction with some knockback distance. Third one is ragdoll reactions. Reactions of different levels makes the combat more dynamic, although it still needs a lot of polish. After adding frame freeze and a little camera shake, the combat system is starting to come together. So the next task is to add some enemies. I designed several test enemy types and implemented some simple AI. First is the most basic type. They will attack the player on sight. I tried different monster types with running and crawling animations. Next, some dog monster. This one is rough because the standard Unreal nav system works poorly with 4-legged creatures, so it's probably not going to be in the final game. And I also created some spider monsters with 3 different behavior patterns. One with jump attack, one with self-explosion that will hurt the player, and one with self-explosion that will affect player view for a short amount of time. Last but not least, I made some flying monsters with 2 behavior patterns. One is chasing the player and attack. One is range attack type. Those are all the enemy types in the game for now. I'm still working on new enemies and polishing existing ones, and the AI also needs a lot of polishing. We will revisit enemy design in future devlog. Next is rage system. Player can gain rage meter by attacking enemies. When the meter is full, player can turn into monsters for a shorter period of time. The design function of this system is kinda like the Spartan Rage in God of War. By adding different monsters player can turn into, the system can add some gameplay varieties. As a roguelike, the upgrade system is very important. The specific upgrades are still in development, and we will talk about it in a future devlog. For now, let's take a look at the presentation part of the upgrade system. When players are able to upgrade, either by earning enough experience or clearing a room of enemies, I found it quite inconvenient if you have to go to a specific place to upgrade. So in my game, you just press one button and several upgrade spheres may appear. The color of the sphere represents different upgrade tabs. Player can choose an upgrade tab, and the specific upgrade of that tab will be randomly chosen for the player to choose from. For example, let's say the gold color is for movement upgrade. When you choose it, you can get upgrades like double jump or increased movement speed. When developing all these systems, I also started designing levels for the game. For this, I'm using a plugin called Dungeon Architect. Basically, I only have to design some specific rooms, and the plugin will randomly generate maps using all those rooms. For testing purposes, I made a dozen of rooms to generate random maps. All the levels are just blocked out for now, since I want to make sure they work in the combat situations before working on it further. At the same time, I'm also working on the player hub area. In the player hub, players can talk to different NPCs, trying out different weapons. This place is where players come to relax between different rounds. The player hub will have different function area, like stores and training place. All the NPCs in this place will have their background stories and some side quests. It will also have some secrets for you to discover. At the moment, the layout design for this place is almost done. I'm continue working on it. For the story, I already have the main frame of the narrative in mind, but not much to talk about for now. These are most of the work I have done for the past several months. However, besides all the system I have mentioned, a lot of generic system is also in development, like save load functions, system settings. At this moment, the main gameplay loop is almost finished. The next goal is to make a playable demo. I want to start getting feedbacks as soon as I can. So if you are interested in Shadow of Scintilla, please add it to wishlist on Steam. The links are in description, and also don't forget to like the video and subscribe. If you have any suggestions or ideas, leave a comment down below. I haven't created a Discord server yet. If you guys want something like that, just let me know. And with that, thanks for watching and see you next time.